Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. We have another great show for you today. First, the NBA's shocking gambling scandal. Who thought basketball was a safe bet? Didn't have that on my bingo card this morning, did you? We have an update on the Celeste Rivas Hernandez case, associated with David, that spells his name with a 4. Karen Reed's latest denial, shocking. She claims she's innocent again. Christopher Scholtes pleads guilty. We got this day in legal history, our quote of the day, and our dumb criminal. Wait till you hear what they did. Let's talk about it.
All right, lawyer.
Good day, everyone. My name is Scott Reisch, and this is Crime Talk. Thanks for joining us. You know the drill. Subscribe if you haven't. Like if you do. Leave me a comment below. Hit that little bell for notifications. And remember, you can check us out on any of your favorite podcasting apps. Now, please let me remind you, go to crimetalksearch.com. Get that background subscription service today. But you know what's even more fun? Buying merch. Go hit the link below. Get some merch. Look at these. These are going fast. The little Crime Talk keychains going fast. Don't forget the shirts. If you've got a great idea, we can make it. All right. Maybe one that says just saying. Maybe aficionado. Stuff like that. Let me know what you think. All right. It was a busy day in court, so we're getting this out because I want to not keep Frank here too late. So let's roll to today's docket. Let's open the record for Thursday, October 23rd, 2025. And like I said, who had this on their bingo card this morning? I didn't. So in a twist that would make even the most jaded soap opera writer blush, the NBA has been rocked by a federal investigation exposing a gambling ring so audacious it can only be dreamed up by the likes of the Bonero and the Gambino and the Genovese and the Lucchese crime families. Who thought the NBA, the bastion of wholesome slam dunks and overpriced jerseys, would be caught in a Mafia-led betting scheme? Apparently not the fans. So today, the FBI dropped a huge bombshell, arresting 31 individuals, including the Portland Trailblazers coach Chauncey Billups, which, hits hard, for people here in Colorado because he grew up here. He went to high school here. He went to CU just down the road. And then he played for the Nuggets as well. Who would have thought it? Also include Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier and former NBA player Damon Jones. The allegations? A multi-million-dollar conspiracy involving rigged poker games and inside sports betting that makes your average casino heist look like a friendly game of Go Fish. Rozier allegedly tipped off bettors in 2023 while with the Charlotte Hornets, faking an injury to exit a game early, allowing his co-conspirators to rake in tens of thousands by betting on his underperformance. The cash, naturally, was counted at his home like some sort of illicit bake sale. Billups, meanwhile, is accused of playing the face card in a high-stakes poker scam, luring victims, charmingly dubbed fish, to a table rigged with X-ray technology, special contact lenses, and fixed shufflers. One poor soul lost $1.8 million in a single game, with total losses exceeding $7 million. Jones, not to be outdone, allegedly dabbled in both schemes, sharing non-public info about players' injuries, including LeBron James' status in 2023. The NBA, scrambling to save face, has placed Billups and Rozier on immediate leave, with Thiago Splitter stepping in as Portland's interim coach. The league insists it's cooperating with authorities, emphasizing that the integrity of the game is paramount. Sure, tell that to the fans who thought they were watching honest competition, not a mob-orchestrated charade. FBI Director Kash Patel called the fraud mind-boggling, with tens of millions in ill-gotten gains, and the indictment reveals chilling texts from mobsters, including threats like, "Watch what's good now. You've been running your mouth unchecked. Operation Nothing But Bet," as the feds cheekily named it, has exposed a dark underbelly of the NBA, leaving fans to wonder who's next and what's left of the game's credibility. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Talk about the ultimate crime conspiracy. You got people betting against themselves, basically tipping people off that they're going to underperform. So on all these bets. And of course, betting is everywhere now. Did you really think it wasn't going to happen? And here's a little ensemble of some clips. Showed some really lackluster performance. It looks like a bunch of sixth graders shooting, at a elementary school basketball game. Pathetic. Maybe we need to take a closer look at some of these individuals, perhaps. Next on the docket, have an update on the Celeste Rivas Hernandez case. So a private investigator retained by the property owner of the Hollywood Hills residence, previously leased by musician David with a 4, also known as David Anthony Burke, has disclosed new information regarding the death of the 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Now, the teenager's remains were discovered in the trunk of a Tesla registered to David, spelled with a 4, prompting an ongoing investigation by the Los Angeles Police Department. So what's new? Well, the private investigator, Steve Fisher, claims to have identified the individual who last parked the Tesla at the final location before it was towed. Fisher's findings are based on surveillance footage collected from multiple properties in the Hollywood Hills Bird Street neighborhood. Fisher reports having constructed a detailed timeline of events supported by video evidence and items not collected during the LAPD search of the residence. He asserts that the Tesla was parked in late July and had not been moved since, with Hernandez's body likely already in the trunk. Now, Fisher emphasized the prevalence of security cameras in the neighborhood, which provided critical footage showing the Tesla's movement to its final parking spot. He clarified that the findings complement rather than contradict evidence likely already held by the LAPD. Now, all findings, including the surveillance footage and the timeline details, have been submitted to the LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division for further review. Now, a little background information on this. Back on September 8th, a tow yard worker in Hollywood discovered Hernandez's decomposing body in the Tesla trunk after detecting a foul odor coming from the car. The vehicle was registered to this David guy who spells it with a 4, and it was towed due to illegal parking at the affluent Bird Streets neighborhood. At the time, David with a 4 was on his Withered World Tour, which was subsequently canceled amid the investigation. The musician has since vacated the Hollywood Hills residence and transferred ownership of his Texas property to his mother. Now, the LAPD has not verified Fisher's findings, and no suspects have been publicly identified by the police. The district attorney, Nathan Hochman, has stated he cannot comment on the case as it has not yet been presented to his office by the LAPD. Now, while Fisher's investigation provides some new insights, critical questions remain unanswered, including, the circumstances surrounding Hernandez's death and the precise sequence of events leading to the discovery of her remains. The LAPD continues its investigation, and further developments are pending official confirmation. Next on the docket, Karen Reed's latest denial. I know, nobody's shocked by this. Yes, Karen Reed is back at it, swearing up and down that she had nothing to do with boyfriend John O'Keefe's tragic demise, this time in a snarky little filing responding to a civil suit from his grieving family. Because apparently being acquitted of murder in a criminal trial wasn't enough, she's now got to go dodge the civil case bullet as well. In a move that surprises absolutely nobody, Reed's response to the O'Keefe's family lawsuit is a masterclass in saying, "Not me," with a little extra flair. The family suing her for allegedly causing O'Keefe's deaths by smacking him with her SUV and leaving him to freeze in the snow. Oh, and for the emotional gut punch they've suffered since. But Reed, she's not having it. She's denied every single claim, from the idea that her relationship with O'Keefe was on the skids to the notion that she was too tipsy to drive straight. Because, the DUI conviction she did get, totally irrelevant, apparently. So let's rewind. First, the criminal trial was a mistrial. The second one saw her skate on the big charges, landing her just a slap on the wrist of probation for driving under the influence. But the O'Keefe family isn't letting it go, dragging her into civil court to hold her accountable. The judge, Daniel O'Shea, clearly not impressed by Reed's attempts to tossed the case, kept it alive, forcing her to file this gem of a response. In it, Reed's legal team is throwing out every trick in the book. They're claiming the lawsuit doesn't even have legs to stand on. Classic, you've got no case energy. And in a plot twist worthy of a soap opera, they're pointing fingers at mysterious third parties who, according to Reed, are the real culprits behind the damages. Not her, of course. And she's just an innocent bystander in this whole mess. She also swears she didn't fake sympathy during a quick visit to the O'Keefe family to, say, sneakily ditch her SUV or shred evidence. Perish the thought. So here we are with Reed digging in her heels, ready to duke it out all in civil court. Unlike her criminal trials, she can't just toss out the blank denials and call it a day. Depositions are coming, and she'll have to, give her version of the events as to really what happened, being subject to cross-examination and under oath. Buckle up, because this saga is far from over. I can't wait to see her deposition. Can you? Next on the docket, Christopher Scholtes pleads guilty to second-degree murder in Pima County, Arizona, for the death of his 2-year-old daughter, Parker, that took place on July 9th of 2024. Now, Scholtes faces 20 to 30 years in prison, with sentencing scheduled for November 21st, 2025, and is ineligible for parole, according to the Pima County Attorney's Office. He rejected a plea deal in March that offered a minimum of 10 years. Scholtes left Parker, the 9-year-old, in a 2023 Acura with the air conditioning on outside in Arizona, during 90-degree weather. He became distracted for over 3 hours, during which the vehicle shut off and the interior temperatures reached 108.9 degrees Fahrenheit, as reported by the Pima medical examiner, confirming that Parker died of heat exposure. Court documents indicate that Scholtes was engaged in activities including, playing video games, maybe having a few adult beverages. And why stop there? Why don't you view a little bit of adult content while your 9-year-old is in a sweltering hot car? Text messages between Scholtes and his wife, Erica, an anesthesiologist, revealed a pattern of leaving the children in the car. Erica texted Scholtes after the incident stating, "I told you to stop leaving them in the car." And later, "We've lost her. She was perfect." Scholtes responding, expressing remorse. Erica defended him in court, describing the incident as a mistake. Scholtes' 2 other children, aged 9 and 5, confirmed to police that he regularly left them in the vehicle. Investigations also revealed that Scholtes shoplifted alcohol on July 9th, consuming some while Parker was in the car. Security footage contradicted his initial claim of arriving home at 2:30 p.m., showing that he actually arrived at 2:53 p.m. and Parker was in the car until after 4 p.m. when Erica returned home from work and discovered her absence, prompting a response from first responders, and little Parker was pronounced dead at the hospital. Further investigation uncovered a history of neglect and substance abuse, and Scholtes' older daughter reported frequent arguments between their parents over his drinking, with one child stating, "He keeps leaving us in the car when my mom told him to stop." Text messages showed Erica's concern about Scholtes driving under the influence with their children, including an incident where he allegedly drove at 138 miles per hour with Parker in the car. Now, Scholtes also has a prior history of leaving his eldest daughter, now 16, in a car, and allegations of physical abuse towards her were noted in Department of Child Services reports. Now, this is a bad case, ladies and gentlemen. You got a responsible wife, anesthesiologist, clearly dealing with a husband that she knows is probably worthless and no good, probably an alcoholic, but she needs him to help take care of the kids. But what is she to do? She's busy trying to hold everything together. In the meantime, guess what? Scholtes leaves the kid in the car. She dies. I don't know. It's one thing to, in a cold day, you leave the car running, but you lock it and you run inside to pay for something. I can live with that. We've all done that. But 4 hours in the sweltering heat, no way, no how. When you've got a history of it and people have warned you not to do it. I hate to say it, he's got to get whacked. He's got to get whacked, and he's got to get whacked hard. And unfortunately, poor Erica, she's trying to say he's a good guy, but let's face it, he's not a good dad. He left his kid in the car and the child died. Don't give me he's a good dad stuff. He's not. Let's get for real. If he was a good dad, he wouldn't have left the kid in the car. He wouldn't be dead. Okay? I hate when people say that. Sure, he killed the child, but he's always been a good dad. Really? He's not a good dad. No. We're not talking like he, forgot to change the diaper quick enough or something along those lines. Maybe put the bed and they overslept by a couple minutes. I get that. But when the child winds up dead, chances are you're not being a good dad. Next, this day in legal history, October 23rd, 1790. The United States Congress passes the Judiciary Act of 1790, amending the structure of the federal courts and clarifying judicial review processes, strengthening the federal judiciary's role under Article 3 of the Constitution. On this day in 1850, President Millard Fillmore signs the Fugitive Slave Act into law as part of the Compromise of 1850, mandating the return of escaped slaves and intensifying legal conflicts over slavery under the Constitution's Fugitive Slave Clause. On this date in 1917, Congress passes the Trading with the Enemy Act, granting the President of the United States authority to regulate foreign commerce during wartime, shaping national security law and expanding executive powers under Article 2 of the Constitution. This date in 1973, President Richard Nixon nominates Gerald Ford as vice president under the 25th Amendment, marking the first use of the amendment's succession provision and reshaping executive continuity procedures. Legal quote of the day: "Give him enough rope and he will hang himself." Charlotte Bront, 1849. And finally, our dumb criminal of the day. David Scarlott, a 34-year-old Florida gem, decided to spice up a routine police visit with a masterclass in bad decisions. Questioned about a hit and run on Sunday, Scarlott, reeking of alcohol, greeted North Palm Beach officers with a charming array of racial slurs and threats because nothing says I'm innocent like screaming F you using the, N-word. Get off my property. Clearly a man of prestige, he claimed to be President Trump's employee, as if that's not a golden ticket to dodge questions. Not content with the verbal fireworks, Scarlett upped the ante by wielding a lit cigarette like a budget lightsaber, nearly singeing an officer's face while vowing to assault their families. Great guy. Handcuffs didn't dampen his spirit. He kept the party going by shouting, "F the cops, and you pigs have nothing better to do," much to the delight of the neighbors. In the patrol car, he headbutted the window and demanded a cage match, insisting, "Take these handcuffs off so I can wipe the floor with you," while tossing in a classy, "You shouldn't be cops in a white neighborhood." At the station, Scarlett's one-man show continued. He threatened officers' jobs with his alleged Trump connection and promised they'd never see their families again if he got free. For his grand finale, he tried spitting on officers after a dramatic throat clear. Charged with attempted battery of an officer, resisting arrest, and corruption by threat, Scarlett faced court on Monday. His bond is set at $25,000, $5,000, and $10,000 respectively. Now, whether he's still behind bars or not, one thing's clear: he's earned his spot in the Dumb Criminal Hall of Infamy. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Scarlett, you have made it. You racist, dumb criminal. That's all we have for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. And remember, the Constitution matters.